This session of Derapy is brought to you by Dubby Energy.
Derapy, Season 3 of Derapy.
The Elizabeth Residency. The finale.
Instead of saying women slept their way to the top, we say men withhold promotions until they receive sexual favors, because that is what it really is.
Do you have any personal experience with that, or is it just like a general statement?
Not necessarily on the sense of like being someone that like I have never been the type of person that like sees things like that, but I definitely have noticed like unfair treatment in the workplace for like, places I've worked that have primarily male management.
Mhm.
And the way they treat the women there who like flirt with them or give them their numbers or like that type of thing. So I have never personally been in that like thing, but obviously being a woman, you hear it a lot, like, oh, she slept her way to the top, and it's like,
Oh yeah.
but there's a reason for that, like,
It's just interesting that people really only look at one side of that perspective. It's just strange to me that like women can sleep their way to the top is the quote, as if like there isn't a guy that is also a part of the sleeping with that is initiating the things. Like it's weird. It's
yeah, no,
strange. It's
like
that's
there's still another part of the problem there. This is it's a two-sided equation.
Yeah, and I just think that yeah, I've definitely also witnessed that too. It's like a really unique power that that women hold, but also people refuse to acknowledge like a man's role in it. I don't know. It's strange. You know what? Have you heard about the Nickelodeon shit with like Drake Bell and Ariana Grande and Dan Schneider and stuff?
Okay, you said Drake Bell. The only thing I know about Drake Bell, I learned a few years ago. And I don't know if this is on the same page, but the last thing I heard about Drake Bell was that his partner accused him of like assault or like domestic abuse or something like that, and he fled the country and like changed his name to Drake Bell, but Bell in Spanish, so like Campana, I think is what it is, and he
Yeah,
started Spanish music. And I do have one of his Spanish songs on my phone. It's pretty good.
it's pretty good. There's this oh my God, I know this off top. This is awesome. I don't even have to. Okay. He dropped a song called Up Periscope Fire. You know what? Outro for this episode. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Look, I think that sometimes, all right, here's what Drake Bell did, allegedly. In 2021, Bell pled guilty to a felony charge of attempted child endangerment and a misdemeanor charge of discriminating matter harmful to juveniles related to inappropriate text messages he sent to a teenage girl in 2017. He was sentenced to 2 years probation and 200 hours of community service. Now, I want to be super clear about this, and I think you already know what I'm about to say. Like, obviously not cool. You're texting underage girls. That's whack. Don't do that. It's bad. But it's not like the worst thing you could do to like an underage person. There are people out here like touching each other. It's bad. Drake Bell was sending text messages, and considering the things that happened to him, not an excuse, not justification, but it just seems like a cycle type thing. R. Kelly, who sucks and was in prison because he's a creep, and I believe everything that everybody said in Surviving R. Kelly, I just believe them because
Yeah,
it's like way too specific and weird to make up.
yeah.
Um, and I just believe it, even though he was quote unquote fighting for his.
This is not me. I'm fighting for my life.
R. Kelly as a child, he was taken advantage of. And so he like kind of took that out on other people. Drake Bell, it seems to me, allegedly, that things happened to him when he was working as a child star on Nickelodeon. So naturally, he wants to, maybe get in touch with his younger side by texting some kids. Michael Jackson had his childhood robbed of him. He grows up, he wants to actually live out his childhood fantasies. He actually wants to enjoy childhood. He builds a place that's a child's dream and he sleeps with kids. Weird, bad, but like you understand it, it's not like the
Yeah.
craziest thing ever. Some people have nothing ever happen to them and then just grow up and start touching kids. Like that shit's crazy. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
But yeah, I say all that to say I'm Team Drake Bell. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't care. Did you watch the documentary?
The is there a Drake Bell one or
So it's behind a paywall, of course. There are like so many streaming services, it's impossible to have all of them. Drake Bell, he was a part of what's it called? Quiet on Set. documentary on Max. You strike me as somebody that has Max,
You're,
HBO Max.
you're
Yeah,
wrong. The
yeah.
only subscription service that I pay for is the Hulu and Disney Plus
Bundle.
yeah, the bundle.
Oh,
I really only got Disney Plus so I could watch Hamilton whenever I wanted to.
I I respect that. That's fascinating. I feel like okay, you have a cat, don't you?
I have three.
Yeah, I knew it. I could tell. Just as soon as you popped on to my Zoom, I was like, this person owns a cat.
Yeah.
Um,
The youngest one right here by my laptop.
oh my goodness.
Little bitty.
What an awful time to have an audio only podcast.
Oh, I know. But her name is Rooster, and she's a menace, and I love her so much.
It's funny that you say that she's a menace because every time right before I start doing one of these Zoom podcast interviews, I slightly open up our bedroom window so the cats have something to do because my young one, Paulie D, he knows when I'm trying to do something important and just wants to fuck it up. Like it's his goal. Like he'll be like here,
Mhm.
just in my shit. He's a bad cat. I don't even like him. I love him, but I don't like him. And I'll tell him that to his little fucking face. But he's still a little bit better than my wife's cat, who just poops on the floor, just for, like right next to the litter box. And the litter box is like a self-cleaning, reportedly. I'm still cleaning it, so like why even call it that?
Yeah.
But there's this cord, obviously it's for you to plug it into the wall, and she likes to poop on the cord, which is just like, dude, why? It's like just
For the
new
most
and
part,
creative ways to make my life hell,
yeah, absolutely.
What
I
do your
mean,
cats do that bother you?
honestly, my cat. Well, I say my cats don't bother me that much. The only thing is that Rooster gets in the plants now. And I have a lot of house plants. I'm a house plant bitch. We are about it. And we have to keep a gate up that has like it's got like styrofoam pieces on the parts that Rooster can like slip through.
Mhm.
She likes to get up on our plant stand and like weave in and out of the potted plants and like knock stuff over. So that's kind of the only thing that any of the cats do that get on my nerves. My dogs, on the other hand, get on my nerves constantly, but I love them.
Do you have dogs too?
I do. I do. I have two dogs.
3 cats and 2 dogs.
Uh-huh.
That sounds like work, dude. I'm surprised you have an hour to just sit here and talk, man. Like, what are they doing right now?
Rooster's cleaning herself. Benji is asleep on the bed. My dogs are in the living room with my partner, and I'm sure Luna's hiding in a closet somewhere.
I asked another woman this, and it was funny because she just happened to be a lawyer, but I'm going to ask you the same thing. You refer to your partner as your partner. Typically, when women say that, it's because it's a woman. Is that true in this sense, or is it also a man?
My partner is a non-binary transgender man, so bigender, and identifies as a non-binary and transmasculine.
Oh, let's go. So I heard this theory that the entirety of LGBTQ it all kind of means the same thing. Because like lesbian is gay is gay, bisexual is still gay, trans is like gay with more steps. I don't even know what queer is. Is queer not gay? Talk me through it. I don't understand it. I'm just a man.
So I would say that a lot of them are umbrella terms. You have to kind of like you don't have to like break them down because like when people ask me about my sexuality, I usually just say like I'm gay. And to me, that means something entirely different than necessarily like, oh, I'm a lesbian, meaning I'm a woman who likes women. When in fact, I'm just attracted to non-cis men, or yeah, basically everyone but cisgender masculine men. So trans men, my thing, non-binary people, trans women, like everyone in between. But basically, if you were born a man and identify as a man, and it's not even like a choice, it's just I am not as attracted to them.
Wow, that is so interesting. Related but unrelated. Would you happen to know who on Facebook is?
I don't think so.
Okay, that's fine. So she made the status talking about how men suck. Whatever, who cares? And I made a comment like, "Yeah, men are trash. That's why I stick to women." Whatever. I thought it was funny. And Facebook like came for me, dog. Like they shut me down. They were like, "You are discriminating against men. It's against like our anti-hate policy. Like you're bullying or harassing dudes." And I was like, "What the?"
Like, I'm literally a mom. Like I'm allowed
I
to
can't.
if I want to.
You're not allowed to type in a comment, "Men are trash."
Yeah.
Facebook is like, that is illegal. Lock him up.
Look him up.
How did we get here? What the fuck is that?
Yeah. I don't know. It's wild. And like when like, the umbrella terms, it's getting to where even more of the terms are umbrella terms. So like when I tell people I'm gay, it's usually I tell people I'm gay, but then if they're older, I say gay, but if they're younger, I usually say queer.
Mhm.
Just because it kind of encapsulates a little bit more. But the only thing is like people who are like older kind of only know queer as like an insult. And so I remember like talking to an old coworker, and I was like I was drinking out of a mason jar. And he joked about it, and I was like, "Oh no, if you see someone drinking out of a mason jar, especially if it's iced coffee out of a mason jar, they're queer." And he goes, "Queer? Like are you like that's okay?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, no, it's reclaimed. We're good. Like
Yeah,
all
that's
ourselves."
so cool.
Yeah.
In an unreleased episode that like I recorded like 3 or 4 times and then decided not to release it because was a coward. I was talking about how weird being homophobic is and how I think I used to be. And then like I grew up. I talked in this episode about how I got absolutely annihilated on Facebook because I said that being gay was a choice. And then some chick was like, "Well, if you think it's a choice, you should try it sometime." And I was like, I'm dead. Like you cooked me. I'm done.
Yeah.
And ever since then I was like, huh, interesting. Maybe this is coming from inside. Maybe this isn't like people aren't a product of their environment. Maybe they were actually born this way. I know, crazy that I learned that, but I found that out like in high school, and then I went to college and like I met more gay people, and then like I befriended them, and I was like, oh shoot, they really just like me for real. Like I don't know, but it's
Yeah.
weird that like some people the only group of people that like you won't touch. Those people, for whatever reason, are under the impression that like being gay is weird, and I think that hot take like they're actually weird. Because being gay is like super normal. It's super chill. I think the title of the unreleased episode was "If I Was Gay, Would It Even Matter?" Because like I have a wife, and like I promise you, like I do be touching her, right? But I find I find men like attractive. Like I think they're nice to look at.
Yeah.
Like Chris Hemsworth, sexy.
Oh, absolutely.
Jason Momoa, like too big for me, but like I see the appeal. Like I get it. Ryan Gosling, especially in La La Land and Barbie, it's the charisma for me. I'm like, this guy took over. Like
Yeah.
I see the appeal. And
Yeah.
the fact that you know what, fuck it. I'm gonna do the episode here. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I don't care. So I was talking to a friend, and you know what? Yeah, you know what? I can say this because he doesn't listen to my show either. You know what? It's so funny. If you had a podcast, right?
Yeah.
Your partner would listen to it, right?
I like to think so.
Yeah, I'd like to think so too. You'd be shocked how many people I'm like really, really close friends with, and you probably have only listened to like the episodes that I told you to, which is totally fine. I don't even care. But you probably have like a baseline understanding of like how seriously I take what's happening right now. And
Yeah.
the fact that like there are people that have known me for so long and are so close to me and just view this as like this fun little hobby of mine is insane. So there's this dude that I'm friends with, and we're talking about basketball. Okay. We're talking about Michael Jordan. You've probably heard of him. He has great potential. I think he could be a big deal.
I've probably heard his name mentioned.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. He has like a shoe or something. But we're talking about Michael Jordan, and he says this dead serious. So I know he's not joking. I've known this guy for years. He's like, I am not gay, but he wore this outfit in Barcelona one time, and he just looked really good. He's like a really handsome guy. And I'm like, you're giving me the ick, dog. I'm not gonna lie, because why are you so concerned that I'm gonna think you're gay if we're talking about Michael Jordan dressing well in Barcelona? You've been dating the same girl for I'm married. We talked about sex so many times.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think that based off this conversation about Michael Jordan's fit 30 years ago, I'd be like, son of a bitch, he might be gay. Like, I don't,
Yeah.
it's really awkward to me.
Yeah.
It really fucked with me that like there are grown men that are like approaching 30 that are still out here like no homo, man. Like I think it's really lame. Do you experience that? Do you still see that in your life?
Yes, a lot. A lot. And I don't like it. Thankfully a lot of the friends that I have that are like, cis straight men, um, are pretty open about like, I don't know, finding certain men attractive, like in the way that, straight men who are secure in their masculinity and sexuality can be, like, with like a, oh, I'm dating this girl, but I would absolutely like do Ryan Reynolds or whoever
Yeah.
else, like
Right, right.
yeah, like I don't know who straight men like, but that's yeah, like that's who I'm assuming. And so like I do have some of those, but like running into them, I don't have as many that do the I'm not gay to me, but I do run into a lot that I think are just like conceptually misunderstanding what it is to be gay. Because I definitely was in a bar with three of my straight guy friends, and I went to
Mhm.
the bathroom. And I came back. On the way back, a guy stopped me to ask about like this tattoo on my arm. So we got to talking about
Mhm.
tattoo. And he like directed me to his friend, and his friend starts hitting on me, and I'm like, "Hey, just need to let you know I'm gay." And he goes, "Oh, okay. Like I don't mind anybody's like sexuality, but if one of those men that you're with aren't taking you home tonight, they're weak." And I was like, I think you've misunderstood. Like the math is absolutely not mathing. Like, what did you think you were doing?
Hmm.
Like, oh, you're right.
Yeah.
I told you I'm gay because I because what? Like,
It's almost like he didn't hear you.
I know. But like I know he did because he went into the gay conversation. I don't mind anybody's sexuality. Like anyone can love anyone. But and I'm like, there's no but.
Yeah, there's no
There's no
that's
but. Like
that's like it's like some chick hitting on me and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm married." And they're like, "No, no, no. No, I get it. Like some people want to get married, but like at the same time, like let me get your number." I'd be like, "I don't know if you
yeah, like I don't think you got it
I don't think
actually.
you I think you misheard." So here's what marriage means. Like I don't know. It's
Uh,
weird. That's very strange. Yeah. I've just it's a big coincidence because at the exact same time that I feel confident enough to release an episode talking about how homophobic everyone I know is and how I used to be, I also just dropped 4 episodes with like a very openly gay person, and I don't I don't want like the juxtaposition of those things. People were like, "Oh, so this guy does a couple podcast episodes with a fruit. Now all of a sudden he feels like he's an ally." Like that's not what it's like. I've been sitting on this for like years. I just think that it's one of those things where it's like when people occasionally tell me that like I talk white or something, I'm like, damn, this is still happening, dog. And it just doesn't stop. And it's weird. I used to have this weird I used to be very defensive about people comparing the LGBTQ experience to the black experience. I was like, they don't get it, dude. We've been through way more, as if like it's an appropriate thing to even have a competition about. But now, like no, I get it. It's kind of the same.
yeah, no, I always like I'm trying to like think of the way like when people compare stuff like that, and it's not always used in this context, but a lot of times, it's the same thing as like, oh, other people have had it worse, da da da. I always tell people, I'm like, just because you lost an arm doesn't mean I didn't lose a finger, right?
Yeah,
I'm still allowed to be upset that I can't use my thumb anymore. Like that's still
yeah,
it's like
yeah. That was another immature take that I used to have. But I think the growth is what's important, like that's all that really matters.
exactly.
I think that like that's why when I low key snapped over like and like if you get in like a if you get like a car accident and somebody's like, dude, there's like people that are starving over there, bro. I'm like, dude, I can't feel my legs right now. Like you can't. Yeah, no, I totally get it. I just wish people would like just it seems this is something that like I learned in therapy and I'm just gonna keep flexing on you hoes that I went to therapy until until everybody goes. Okay. People have a really hard time putting themselves in like other people's shoes. And it's one thing to like feel for somebody, and then it's another thing to like feel as them. So like I did this exercise in therapy where it's like you have to take like a solid 5 minutes to like really imagine yourself as somebody else and then think about like what it would be like to live as them for even like a couple minutes or something. Because it's one thing when, let's say, for example, somebody in your family dies, right? And then it would be easy for me to be like, damn, Elizabeth, I'm sorry that happened. Like, I feel for you. But it would be like another thing to be like, damn, imagine yourself like building a relationship with somebody for this long and then being like everything to you, and they're like your best friend, and they like took you to school and they like taught you how to like read, and then they would like pick you up and drop you off everywhere, and they were there when you graduated. And then it's like if you actually take the time to really imagine yourself as somebody else, then you can start to begin to understand their experience. And most people just don't even begin to try and do that. They're just like, damn, shit sucks, but tough. And then they just move on with their day.
Yeah, absolutely. I fully agree with that. Also, definitely flex for getting therapy because everyone needs therapy.
For sure. So, yeah, have you done therapy?
I've done therapy.
Heck yeah, dude. What's the worst thing that's ever happened to you?
Bro, what?
I'm just kidding. You don't have to yeah, no, therapy is lit, and I definitely speed ran it. I don't think I did it the way you're supposed to, but I don't even care. I think all that matters is that like it worked and I'm happy. So I don't even care, dude. This has been very productive, and this is honestly went exactly as I thought it would, if I'm being totally for real.
I feel like this was a successful conversation. I had a really fun time. I honestly, up until like listening to the episodes I've listened to of your podcast, I really didn't like a lot of like conversation-based podcasts. Like I like story-based podcasts or like, like question and answer type things. But I actually do like conversation podcasts, especially like when it's people who are like just having fun and like chit-chatting and that type of thing. So I was really excited that you invited me to do this with you, and I feel like it was pretty much exactly what I expected too.
Honored. I want you to know, and this isn't me, I think the kids call this glazing, okay? I want you to know that this is not like coincidence. I didn't like pick your name out of a hat or something. I think that you're like a cool ass human being, and I've seen your post and I've seen your comments, and like I digitally stalked you, and I was like, this is worth my time, and I think it's going to be exceptional content, and I want you to take with you that, there's no such thing as a coincidence. You are a special person, and you are worthy of Derapy. So take that with you.
Thank you. You're a special person too. Keep that in the podcast. Positive self-talk.
How we talk about ourselves is extremely important, and I hope that people understand that.